Hello, welcome back to another episode of Press Play. I'm your host, Derek River, and today we've got Rob Thompson, founder of GamePlanU. Welcome to the show, Rob. Thanks for being here, bud.
Life is good. Thanks for having me.
How are things going down there in Florida today, huh? Is it all the dreamy weather we hope for?
Every day is a sunny Saturday, man.
I love it, baby. All right, let's jump right into it. Tell us, who are you and what do you do?
Well, I'm an accidental entrepreneur that kind of wove my career inside and out of startups, startovers, and corporate America. So, I had a 30-year degree mainly in sports and then family entertainment with the Walt Disney Company, and the sports side was mainly with the National Football League.
I love it. So an entire career essentially dedicated to media, entertainment, hospitality, sports, the whole gamut, if you would. And that's why you're here on the show, is we want to dive into some of that today. That's going to be really excited. So walk me through. Let's jump right into GamePlanU. How is GamePlanU innovating the world of startups right now? What is the game plan here?
Well, we're providing an ecosystem for our startup founders, mainly in sports technology and sports lifestyle. We connect them to executives in the industry as well as investors who are looking for deal flow. And these startup founders either come from a really heavy tech side of it or a really heavy sports side of it. And rarely do you get one that kind of does both or knows both sides of it. So we're the connector between the two. We also have a whole network of career seekers. So those who have that kind of that up and coming risers that are looking to get an immersion into the industry, the sports and entertainment industry, but don't really know where to start. So we provide them that discovery process.
I love it. I love it. And that's super exciting. And there are many different moving pieces. When you have technology companies up on the rise, it's often complicated. And we have to find a way to explain those things. And here comes video to help with that branding. There also comes the network and the different media outlets and channels and platforms and the whole 9 yards. So the whole thing is there for us, and you're helping connect those people so that they can take off. I love it. That's super exciting. So I got to say, maybe in the last year, what's an example that you can give us of someone that you connected, that you took to the next level with your game plan?
Yeah, so part of our, monthly programming and support, we run twice a year. We run a sprint, and basically it's a pitch competition. So it's all our form of it, but it's all done in video. So it's a 60-second. Tell us your life story. Tell us exactly what problem you're solving. Tell us your business model, and what are you asking for? That's done within a 60-second video. And when people are like 60 seconds too quick, we'll try doing the video. Sometimes it feels like a lifetime like that. So those videos are put together within a tournament format, like a March Madness. However, the fans vote. Fans, friends, mostly friends and family, investors, executives, who will vote, who you think has the best pitch. It's not necessarily best idea because, as you know, they talk about it's your elevator pitch. You have to break through to get someone's attention. And what is that? How do you show up for it? How do you present yourself? Are you clear in your delivery? And the video is able to do it. Now, some of our founders will chop it up and edit it up and drop in, a little SFX in the background so they know what they're doing. Other ones are just sitting there like they're doing a testimonial, or they're kind of held hostage somewhere. They're pleading for their life. So it's all different levels, but that's the one thing that we're able to do. And obviously we share it across all our social platforms. They share it across their social channels, and they get that peripheral person who maybe never heard of them, or what is this? They get to bump into it. So last year, Rakoti, which was our winner for this past fall, how it changed his life was he's based in Florida. He has put together this platform as a video scrapbook for sports teams. There's many uses of it, many industries that could use it. But someone who was in my network, who wasn't really even a part of our angel network at the time, was a friend of mine that I went to college with, saw this video. He's in the industry, and he said, I would love this platform. I love the guy. I want to invest in it. And he became, he's providing some seed funding to one of our founders just through this video presentation that they did. They found him through the sprint pitch competition. So there you have it.
Oh man! Oh, and we know that you're awfully credible. Let's just say we know you've authored a book, "Landed Dream Job If Dad Doesn't Own the Team," an Amazon #1 book, new release. I got to say that's pretty cool. You also published "Sports Dream Job Playbook: helping sports career seekers on their journey. As I'm reading my notes here, I'm really impressed. You're helping founders find a way. You're helping others find ways to do things to get their brand, to get that you get that little hook in us. And the fact that you're using video in this one area is super phenomenal for us. We love that part too. So let me ask a deeper question on that one. When it comes to the winners of these types of competitions, who's really sticking their neck out there to really demonstrate that they're the best one to win? Who's taking that extra edge, and what does that look like? How can we have the audience walk away with a way to create a short, impactful video that captures attention?
Well, I mean, if you have a solution to a problem or to make someone's life easier or have access to information, that really shines through a lot of times. But it's like anything else. There's people out there that are really, really good at raising money, but they don't have the back end to actually execute. And there's other people that are great executors, but they're horrible in front of the camera. So you have to find, if you're not good in front of the camera, put someone else that is, that can tell your story for you, you know? So it's amazing perception and how human nature is, the perception of what we look. People are watching this and sizing me up and sizing you up, right? They do it quickly. And, you know, so that's the beautiful thing about video. It's just going to expose people to their strengths, their weaknesses. And unfortunately, what they look like is always something that matters in people's perception of each one of us. So, and that follows through on founders. What's their story? How do they look? How do they present themselves? Their physical attributes, all of those things, regardless, we're shallow human beings, and that's the reality of it.
I love it. I love it. And, you know, that's really the truth is we touch on another episode. You see roughly 6,000 advertisements a day. So when you see another video come your way, are you going to really digest that information? I think that's absolutely what's critical here. And you're helping people bring that voice to life because it's more than just actually a voice. It's a face. It's a look. It's a perception. It's a judgment all in about 7 seconds. The insecurity level could be through the roof, but you have to be confident, not egotistical. We have to be on top of our game plan for sure. So let's jump into maybe another segment of this. So when it comes to video, not being ignored, that's what we're trying to get to. How do we get you to not ignore a video? With your background in sports marketing and entertainment, how can we start to traverse that gap at the same time? So we have that competition of yours. Now we start to take it out to the bigger world. How can we work through that? What do you think?
I think regardless of what industry you're in, I mean, you're seeing it now where former athletes now have a platform called podcasting, right? So to be able to tell their story and to connect, even if they have a niche that's very small, they might have a very small lane, but it could be a deep lane, right? And it's the same thing with any industry. Even if you have an industry that's kind of boring, that's kind of mundane, and you might not have a wide audience because it might be an enterprise business, but you could still you still could tell a story that resonates. It doesn't have to be an infomercial. It doesn't have to be, hey, Sacramento, you could buy this car. It doesn't have to be that. It could be understanding your consumer behavior, understanding the qualities of what the behaviors like, what their lifestyles like, the things. Your consumers are pretty much have the same kind of like-minded people anyways, right? And like-minded businesses. So what are those attributes that might be funny, educational, emotional? Think about all those pieces. And if you could put that into a 60-second to 2-minute video to tell that story, that's an easy way to break the ice. That's an easy way to keep your brand out there. And for the sports industry, that's an easy way for an athlete to really shine through on who they are, and what matters to them. What things do they like besides playing a particular sport? It could be cooking. It could be Marvel Entertainment, right? It could
Absolutely.
be anything that's gaming. It could be anything that's above and beyond what people perceive them to be. So all industries, all people now, I don't know who said it, but we're all our own media companies now. And we all have the access because of this thing. The number one paid media talent was a 12-year-old kid who opened up Legos, right? With 4 billion views on YouTube. Why? Right? Because it's human nature. We're interested in people. We're voyeurs. We like to watch. We like to watch what other people's are doing. And video allows us to do that in a professional, contrite way to share our voice in our digital voice with people. So don't be afraid of it. there's an audience for you. It might not be long and might not be deep, but if you have 5 people, you could sell them 5 people something.
That's right. That's right. You got to take the shot. You got to put yourself out there. And I love what you were bringing to the sports world, because there's so many people, athletes specifically, looking to show their voice and show who they are beyond just an athlete. They want to show that they do have concerns for the world, that they are out there donating their time or trying to at least build awareness for a program, whether it's a football training program, an after school hours, the tutoring session, whatever they're about. That's where video starts to come in. And again, as long as you've got 5 people, you can really start to change the world in a minute with short form video. And that's essentially what Explainify is all about. Again, Explainify powers this, but short form video communication is prevalent all across the world, and the demands are rising. And what I wanted to uncover and touch on is what you were uncovered. There was inside of advertisements, it doesn't always have to be an infomercial per se. Hey, I make a commercial, buy this now, buy this now, buy this now. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about telling a story, building brand reputation, awareness, legitimacy, loyalty in 7 seconds or less because of that first scroll through. Right? If we don't capture your attention in those first few seconds, right? So now let's migrate the conversation more towards, let's say, commercial advertising levels. So there are different types of commercials, and we're going to bring some new vernacular here to the show today. So if you've got your notepad, this is the time to pull it out. Rob's going to take us into a little deeper about different types of commercial advertisements and how we can label them. So you and I were discussing this topic the other day, Rob, and I'd love to touch on that a little bit more.
Well, the one thing that I learned, and it was a mindset, when working for the Walt Disney Company on the family media side, there's so many regulations and so many restrictions. I call them the no police. The no revenue police would always kind of, you can't advertise. So in a lot of our channels, a lot of our media platforms, especially aimed towards children, there's no advertising allowed, and you fall into certain categories because there's certain things you COPA compliance, whatever. But what you're able to do, and this was a new thing for me, you have to be able to, you could still have sponsorship storytelling, which is called an interstitial. And the interstitial is typically 60 to 2 minutes long, and it's a Walmart commercial about the healthy lifestyle of families out there at the park, walking the dog, things that families do together, or the perception of what families do together.
That's right.
My family never did that, but other people's families probably did that. And that story is told by healthy lifestyles, great communication, the dog's barking, the kids have smiles on their face, the husband and wife are actually holding hands, all brought to you by your friends at Walmart. That's an interstitial. So if you are a business owner and you're thinking of how do I make my auto dealership, or how do I make my garage or my pest control company cool? Well, put a piece of your humor into it. You know what your clients are looking for. Make it educational, make it emotional, and make it funny. Make it one of those 3 or a blending of all 3, but tell the story in a funny, unique, educational way that people will remember. It doesn't have to be a call of action. It doesn't have to be a buy now, learn more, register today. It doesn't have to be that. Not everybody likes to be sold. No one likes to be sold, but they all like a story. And if you think about it in that way, it will make your video production, it will make your advertising a little bit more unique, and it certainly will give an emotional connection and people to remember you by.
Yes, that's right. Nobody likes to be sold, but everyone loves a good story. And especially when it comes to commercial advertising, when you're streaming at home, more than ever before after this year of madness, and we start to engage and digest even more and more video content every single day, we have to find new and innovative ways to build brand perception and loyalty without overtly selling somebody. Again, if you're seeing 6,000 advertisements a day saying buy this thing, you're just going to tune it out. We've gotten really good at those things. So the best way to come at it with a fresh angle is to start incorporating things like interstitials into your media outlet channels. Are there other types of videos that you can touch on that maybe support the interstitial, or maybe we could perhaps talk about the push onto social media and even shorter form content, 5-15 seconds perhaps? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I love podcasts. I love this. I love the back and forth dialogue because I just think that it brings out more content, or people's perception or point of view on things, especially people that have been in the industry before. It's more authentic in a lot of ways than it's scripted content. And then you could pull out. For me, I like to go live on all the things that I do, whether it's a podcast, mostly podcasts. And then I like to be able to kind of then compound all that content. So I like it live. I like it then edited and then rebroadcasted on my social channels. Then I like to break it down into the snack bites, of 10s or 5s or 15s that are really good nuggets of information that I could kind of then just reproduce and reschedule out. And then people will watch a 15 all day long, and just like little things that are going to charge people and like change someone's, that I need that little boost of energy. Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, that's a great post. It has nothing to do with my business, but I just like where they're going with it and their perception and their perception on life, and those are, for me, it's the smaller bites. Plus I got ADD, so I can't, me sitting through a 60 is like an hour movie anyways.
You and I seem to have about the same amount of energy, because if you looked at my Instagram, I'm following 5,000 people and maybe have 500 people talking to following me. I'm so interested in so many different platforms, and even if it's for a product that I don't care to buy, I still study. I get, I want to study. I want to see what you're doing. I want to give props and credit to those brands that are helping differentiate themselves by taking a new approach to advertising. And so whether it's, Honest Baby Company or something like that, my wife leads that for the kids, of course, but I love the angle that they've taken across the whole board there. There's just a million different brands doing lots of fun things. And so we always have to keep an eye out. When we can do it live, of course, you're always going to get more color. And even doing this podcast, you're going to see the same thing. We're doing it in front of you. We get great content, we split it up, and it'll be reproduced over the next few months. That's one way to do it, but it needs to be supported by many different campaigns and many different forms of content creation, if you would, not just advertisement. And I think that's what we're trying to get at today, is tell the story through all the different channels. Don't just advertise through all the different channels. That's two different things for sure. So, all right. So we're coming back into the investing world, and I want to talk more about how video has connected investors with more businesses and brands in your experience. Is there another thing that we can touch on, maybe like a tips or tricks section as to something that you found one of your partners did that helped them jump 5 spaces ahead in the game?
Yeah, not everybody's comfortable being in front of the camera, but I just think because we have so many different channels and just because there's so much noise out there in the marketplace, emails, no one answers emails anymore. Texting seems to be pretty cool, but a nice quick video, especially attached to an intro in LinkedIn, and it could be very casual and authentic. Everybody, that's different. And I think investors are constantly looking for deal flow. And now that being a solopreneur, working from home, controlling your life, I want to own my own business, the influx and the entrance of barrier to be an entrepreneur is so low right now that it's just everybody coming out. There was an interesting survey done on Forbes, and it was that Generation Z who then they did a big survey about what do you want to do when you get older, when you grow up, and 59% of them said start a business.
Oh,
not go work for somebody, not because pensions don't happen anymore. We know what's happening with that, but that means the more I call it the Gary V. It's the Gary V kind of generation that are hitting us now, and it's going to be hitting us in the next 5 to 10 years. Video and audio is going to play a huge role in that. Whether you leave an audio message for somebody, an audio recording on their LinkedIn, or through a text. Or especially a video. I think it's a combination of the two. Those are the things that are going to stand out and be remembered by. Other than that, you're just kind of part of the noise. You're just part of someone else doing another podcast. So for me, I think for an investor out there, get comfortable being uncomfortable, figure it out, right? That's part of entrepreneurship, figuring it out. But get in front of people and use video and use audio the best way you can.
That's right. And, we're talking about live video too. You can blend it with animation. You can blend it with pre-record. There are all different types of media for the audience here. Just, to break it down a little further. One of the most popular things in Explainify is hybrid mixed media content, where you do have a live action face or a sports property, such as an athlete or perhaps an in-arena activation, whatever it is. You can take segments of content, live film, and blend animation around it or even on top of it. And we've all seen those different advertising campaigns. LeBron with his different soda campaigns, right? Careful with branding and words, but really I'm just trying to say those are all backed up by an animated push, a look, a style, a brand, a story. And that's kind of what we're getting at, is like there are all different ways to get creative. It's not just you alone. If you find the right partners like Rob or Derek, then you have a fast track way to shortcut the right game plan for you. So Rob, tell us, what is next for you and GamePlanU?
Well, for me, it's really about drilling down into the individuals who need the help, those that are kind of stuck. I mean, the pandemic did a lot for people, good and bad. I just happen to be one of the ones that luckily it worked out in my advantage. It forced me to be disruptive. It forced me to sell everything, my house that we lived in and we raised the 4 children, all our furniture, our cars, and completely do a relocation 2,000 miles away to Florida and from upstate New York in the frozen tundra. And with that, we went on a whole lifestyle change. I lost almost 70 pounds, got healthy, focused on my mental health, my physical health, and then my financial health. And that needed to change somehow. I needed to completely disrupt all of those things in my life. And how you show up for your day, your mental health has such a big piece of it, of being an entrepreneur and being in a career. And it helps with everything. So I've created this program called Dream, and it's really about disruption, recharging, eliminating all the bad habits, attacking your fears, and then your mindset, what your mindset is like every day, how you start your day. It's so important, from being a pro athlete to being an entrepreneur to being a career to being a spouse or a friend. And so I kind of took everything that I learned from going through this disruption in my life, which we did in 9/11. We had a huge disruption. My wife and I, we moved up to upstate New York from Connecticut. I did it again in 2008, 2009, out to Burbank to work for Disney when the market was crashing. I went on offense, but we dreamed big, and my wife and I and our kids. And so Dream is really a platform that I've created personally to help out those career seekers, those big dreamers who want to start a business, people that are in business that are maybe a little bit stuck, that need a little bit of a kick in the pants. So I'm not a guru. I'm not a hype guy. I'm just a realistic, practical, blue collar guy who kind of carved out and survived the sports and entertainment industry by being honest, by being real, and being creative and a hard worker. And if that resonates with anybody out there in my world or your world, I'm always open to listen and to help and strategize. So
I love it. And, those are phenomenal stories. And I think very true to the heart. It's hard to find, someone who didn't get through all of last year, if you would, and still moving forward into the new normal, who hasn't had to upturn or relook at something. We're all having to reimagine what it could be moving forward here. And I got to say, Rob, it's been phenomenal having you on the show, all the things that you're working on. If I wanted to tell the audience where they could go right now, what's the best place for them to get started?
So you go to robthompson.biz, B-I-Z. That tells a little bit more of the story and ways to connect with me and reach out and get on my schedule for a quick conversation. So Rob Thompson, THOMPSON.biz.
I love it. Dude, thank you so much. All right. That is just about all the time we have for today. So thank you again, Rob. We will have you on in the future. You keep hustling, big dog. We're going to stay connected. Keep us up to date with what's going on. If you haven't connected with Rob, make sure you do. But this has been your host, Derek Gerber. Remember to click that subscribe button. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.